The next topic is going to be again, still you'll have the curiosity will continue, guys. So I've already explained this demonstration, but yes, I am just summarizing here. So Lambda is actually an immutable file system based on container images, and it will mainly use for OS runtime. It's basically built with Rust and all. Internally, they're built with Rust, and it's for fast boot and security sandbox to root that. So coming back to now, we are good with that. Now we will talk about next important person is called what is DynamoDB. So how DynamoDB is internally built in your AWS. So why AWS built that DynamoDB? So needed a highly available, eventual, consistent store. To traditionally a normal RDBMS cannot scale at Amazon. So they use DynamoDB because DynamoDB uses a data structure called LMS trees, guys, for a fast write through output. And it algorithms are super mind blowing because it has a good algorithm that definitely is supporting it to the thing. So, and it has a file system that is basically custom SST table format, and OS level also they use thread pooling. I will demonstrate how DynamoDB actually works internally with the hands-on coding. Ready? So in this DynamoDB, I will demonstrate the DynamoDB code samples. Okay. So this is DynamoDB code samples. So I'll explain what is DynamoDB. DynamoDB is a basic database. Everybody knows it. But you might be getting a question, Venkatesh, I don't want that information. You tell me how to demonstrate a simple DynamoDB. I just demonstrate me a simple database. So I will demonstrate a simple example. So first I have a class called DynamoDB sim, which will take a replica count 3. That is this class. Okay, you can see this my class. Inside this, I'll pass replica count 3. So what will my object variables or instance variables are? Lock, replica, and replica count. Replica count anyhow mentioned 3. Lock is, I'll use the threading.lock here. Okay, and replicas, don't worry, I will loop here based on the replica count. I'll run this loop for 3 times and then store in a data in a dictionary. I mean, replicas will be stored in a dictionary. Okay. Then let me give you one more demonstrated is here I have something called putItem, replica write, but I've written underscore means what? This is private method, but this is put as a public method. Okay. Observe that. I have a getItem and that getItem also I implemented here and that getItem also I have implemented here. So now I will demonstrate here. First I create an object to DynamoDB. Then I'll call a write item. I'll put item will take key. So you can see here I take one is partition key. This is a key. Second it takes is the I can pass another key is email and then an email ID. So you can see this here. It takes self partition key. This partition key is actually this guy, and then it takes the next part is the sort key and then value. The sort key is what email, and it's another value is venkatesh.example.com, something I've taken here. Okay, so in this what internally DynamoDB is using. So guys, important, this is important name. Whenever you are writing into DynamoDB, every write operation will be done internally in a threading concept. So you see, observe here, it will internally create threading.thread. It will call threading object and it will take this, it will register this function. What is that function called? Replica write. This function will be registered. And this function, it will be executed as a thread. And the arguments what I passed in the partition key and sort key value, it will pass it. So what will happen, what DynamoDB will do is, whenever you insert any value into the key value pair in DynamoDB, it will take this replica write method as a thread and execute this as a thread and take this partition key value and it will search for replicas in self.replicas. So it will loop this replicas, okay, and it will get some value. It will lock here. Inside with locking, it will take this value what you passed here. It will be copied into the replica, which is a default dictionary, and the DynamoDB will store the data in a dictionary format, which takes 2 keys. One is a partition key and one more is sorting key. So it will store internally with partition key and sorting key, both together, it will store this value. So this is something crazy. Maybe I can give you a demonstration here. 1 second, wait. Before I run through this code, so let me give you one demonstration here as a simple Python. Just open, let me open idle here. So first you have to understand how it is storing internally. I'll show you that also. See, I will just give you this demonstration. This code I have done. Na? See, I'll write like this for I in, listen carefully. I'll write I in range of 3. If I write like this, what happened in this code? Anyone tell me what's happening? And if I write like this, I will get first 0, 1, 2, 3. That's what happens. So and then I'll do print of I. So if I loop this 3 times I'll get the value 0, 1, 2, 3. Correct? Now let's say I'll write like this. Okay. I'll be looping, but I don't want the return value of, I don't want the index of this guy. But I'll create each loop. In each loop, what I'm doing, I'll explain you this. I'll create the outcome of this loop is what, I'll create a list. Inside this list, I'll append a lot of dictionaries. What I'll append? Dictionaries. This is the concept here. So every time this loop happens, it will create one dictionary and that dictionary will be appended to a list. So if you want to understand, the outcome of this is actually what? Suppose, let's say I'll take like this, guys. No need to confuse you. So the outcome of this list is, the outcome of this loop is what? It will create a list and append the loop value each time. And that is the outcome here. So let me print the outcome. So you get the outcome. See the outcome. So the outcome of this loop is, you'll get a list. What is the list value? 0, 1, and 2. What is the value here? 0, 1, and 2. That's the outcome here. So what is the outcome here means 0, 1, and 2 is the actual values. Okay. So all of you are smiling here. So this outcome, that is 0, 1, and 2, that I can do one more approach here. What I'll do here, carefully listen. So I will write down here. Instead of this I will use here, they mention, see what is they mentioned there? Default dictionary, correct. So let me write down default. So the name I have to remember it, guys, default dictionary. And inside this dictionary, you have to pass dictionary. So print it there. I think 1 second, there is something wrong I have done here, because this I have to open it from the collections. 1 second. Then it should work here. So then you print here default dictionary. What is default dictionary? I'll tell you. Default dictionary, 1 second. Okay, if you print default dictionary, it is a class. So that class you have to pass dictionary. So now this will work now. So what will happen is, every time when you loop it, it will create a default dictionary 3 times based on how many times the loop will iterate. The loop will iterate how many times? 3 times. So obviously you will get this like this. Enter this code. See, it is creating a default dictionary. How many times means 3 times. It means what? A list which has 3 dictionaries. A list has how many dictionaries? 1 dictionary, 2nd dictionary, 3rd dictionary. Each dictionary has got again a key value, key value, key value. If you want it, you can do one thing. You can write return RET is equal to, do like this. Internally, DynamoDB is storing internally in this approach only. See, it's all with the data structure only, guys. I'm just researched a lot of information. So from my information only, I'm telling you this. So next session, I'm actually inbuildly preparing a lot of in-depth here. So print RET. So RET will say it's a default dictionary. Now you can print this value for I in RET colon print of I. It will see that you are printing a default dictionary, 3 default dictionaries, and each dictionary will be default dictionary, which is of type is of class dictionary, which takes this value. So this is the internal approach of coding done in the DynamoDB also. DynamoDB in-depth is super amazing for all of us, because internally DynamoDB will have this replica. The replica will be actually stored in a list of the default dictionaries. It is actually what? A list. Inside this list, it is storing what? Default dictionaries. It will store how many default dictionary? 3 default dictionaries. So into that default dictionary only, replicas only, they are storing like this key and value. So if you want, I can also store this here. What I can do here, you can go to my default dictionary and you can write here. So what is this? I'll write down here I and a key something C and another thing I'll put Java equal to 1 to print I. So now what happened here? In this default dictionary, you are able to store a normal class dictionary. In the class dictionary is what? C is key and another key is what? Java, another key is 1. So DynamoDB internals you cannot crack anywhere, but first time we are able to crack it with the CoderRange community meetup because it will have a dictionary. That default dictionary has class dictionary which has a key C and another key Java and it has a value. And this is the actual logic we are implementing here. Replica takes partition key and sort key. What is partition key? Partition key is your this user hash 101. What is actual key? Email. So it will store that information in the with a value. That value is what? What is the value I passed is Venkatesh at example. So this way DynamoDB internally stores. Any questions here, guys? Hello? Any questions? Are you guys smiling? Hope all of you are getting. Okay. Yes, this can be modeled with other DBs also. Yes, but they have implemented using this approach. And coming back to next thing, you can use one more concept called here getItem. In getItem, what they do also I'll tell you. See here, next they'll use getItem. GetItem, I'll pass what? The default, that's what the key, 2 keys you will pass. User hash 101, email. I told people, but what is exactly DynamoDB? It will have 2 keys. One is C, one more is Java. Correct. So when you take this 2 keys, it will pass to this guy, getItem, and it will take this partition key and sort key. And partition key will be taking as that first key and it will search in the replicas for replica in this thing. It will check when by locking only it will do. By checking replica.get, it will pass this partition key and try to get the value. Okay, if that value is there, I'm copying that value into another list. And then I'm returning this list. Result will be, I'll be returning mostly this. So to reduce the read consistency, they use maximum of this value and then read it from them. Yes. Any questions, audience? All smiling coders? Okay. So how this will scale in depth, in why it will scale is that there is a reason for that. So see the scaling nature, DynamoDB, the scaling nature or comparison if you are doing with any normal database. Maybe if I say here a MongoDB or something, the key internal differences is that there is one reason for that. A simple reason is there, not so complication. DynamoDB scaling is generally horizontal. Okay. Normal databases, they do scaling with horizontal, manually you can do, or auto vertical scaling also possible. But DynamoDB is only horizontal, only via auto sorting. We can do that. Okay. So that is one thing. Why we are doing this concept in DynamoDB is they have implemented write scalability, read scalability very nice, because you can scale this with the partition keys. This partition keys is there, na? This is what partition key, and I'm using this word called partition key and sort key. Na? Using this, you can scale. You can scale well. You can do that highly scalable with the partition keys. Okay, and they also reading also. They're providing global tables and replicas also they're doing. So in that way, it is highly scalable. It means the other databases are not highly scalable. Is this clear or not? So that is the main unique reason we are going for DynamoDB internal implementations.